Hi there, welcome back to Luxe Minds. My name is Irini, and today we're going to be talking about financial advice. So the premise of this video is I wanted to put something together where it'd be myself at 25 years old giving advice to my 18-year-old self. The decisions I would have made with my money, what to start looking into, what a Roth is, and so forth. We're just going to hop right in and get started, but as always, make sure to subscribe if you like this content and check out the other videos on my channel. I release new videos every Wednesday, and if you find this video to be useful, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. The first step you want to do is actually open a bank account. Now there's two types of bank account. There's a checkings account and a savings account. So the checking is going to be useful for everyday things. Once you get a full-time job, they're going to want to be sending you money through direct deposit straight to your checkings account. So you open your checkings account, and then you can also open up a savings account, saving money that you want to put away to pay for college, pay for big expenses in life, or just have that emergency fund set aside. And a savings account will have limits that help make sure you don't indulge in that money when you need some, purse or Gucci belt. That money has restrictions on it, so it limits you from using it. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing a normal savings account because while your money will make some money, it's mainly going to be pennies. There are high yield interest savings account that will offer you a little bit more for the money that just sits locked in the bank. And the best thing you can do is just Google what the best interest rates are for that month and look up what banks you should, have a high yield interest savings account with. Now, the numbers are always going to be changing. They were a lot higher in March than they are now, but just pick a bank and your money will end up making more money in that high yield savings account than it would have made just sitting in a normal savings account. So after you've opened your bank account with the bank of your choice, my next piece of advice is to get a credit card. Now, this is important because this is what's going to help build your credit score, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But when it comes to opening up a credit card, whether you're just getting out of high school or you're starting your college or you're already in college, it's really important that you open up that credit card right away. Now, you have some options when it comes to getting a credit card. You can try and get one out on your own, which is going to be a little bit difficult if you don't have work history or any reason for a bank to give you a credit card. So your best options would be to either become an authorized user under someone else's credit card. And that's what I did when I graduated from high school. My mother added my name to her credit card, so I got my own credit card under her profile, and we used it to pay like the phone bill and some utilities at home, just so it can start growing up my profile of being, a responsible borrower. And this is a great option. So if you have a parent or a legal guardian or someone that can add you to their credit card, go ahead and do that. If not, you can get a secured credit card. So this essentially means that you want a credit card with a limit all the way to $1,000, you would put down $1,000 as a secured method for that bank to know that if anything happens and you don't pay your credit card back, they'll take that $1,000 or however amount you have outstanding with them to cover those costs. And this is a great option, and I know quite a few students that did this coming out of high school and going into college, so highly recommend. And then banks also offer you a student credit card, which is a great option, but just note that your spending limit is going to be a lot lower and your interest rate is going to be a lot higher. So the interest rate is going to be the fee that they'll charge you if you don't pay back the money on time. And this is how a lot of people end up in major debt in America. So my number one piece of advice in life is always pay your bills on time. And so as you pay these bills, this is going to impact your credit score. Your credit score is, a rating that you have as a consumer that allows banks and other financial institutions to be able to rate you and figure out, okay, how trustworthy is Irini, or how trustworthy is Sarah, Mike, or whatever. Like, depending on how high your credit score is, that will show the outcome of if you get a loan, how much that loan is, and the rates that come with it. A credit score ranges from 300 to 850. And I'm going to get into another video on the details of how to improve your credit score, what exactly impacts your credit score, but it's a really important number in life and it will follow you throughout life. But for those of you just starting out, a credit score is going to be important when you try and rent your first apartment. I used to be a leasing agent right after college, and I would see so many young, fresh college students coming out and not being able to rent an apartment because their credit score would be completely awful. And they would talk about all the mistakes they made with their credit cards and failing to pay things back on time. So it's really important that you make sure you have a strong credit score and that you work to improve it. Okay, next on the list, we have opening a Roth IRA. An IRA is an individual retirement account. I know, you might be thinking, retirement? Now I'm only 18, what are you talking about? But I completely disagree. Now is the time for you guys to start thinking about retirement. I remember when I was 17, I had an economics teacher, and one day in class, he sat us all down and he was like, everyone, go home and open a Roth IRA account. Do you know how many of us went and opened that account? None of us. Do you know how many of us regret not opening that account? All of us. Why? It's simple. The earlier you start putting money away into the market, the more money you will have by the time that you retire. So if you start while you're 18, you're going to have way more money than if you start in your mid-20s or late 30s. The sooner, the better. Now, the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional account is simply when your money gets taxed. With a Roth IRA, as you put money into your account, it'll be taxed, and it'll be taxed at your current tax bracket, which if you're in high school or simply in college, you're not going to be making that much money, so your tax bracket is going to be probably really low, probably the lowest it'll be in your career. So if you start taxing it now, when you go to pull out your money in retirement, that money is not going to be taxed again, which means that the money that you made in profit while it was in the market, that's free money, you guys. It's not going to be taxed. You don't have to pay for that money. And then if you do a traditional IRA, when you go to pull that money out when you retire, you're going to have to pay taxes on all of it. And if you're retiring at like 65 as a top CEO, you're going to be in a pretty high tax bracket, and that money is going to be dwindled down, my friends. So the smart thing here would be to open that Roth IRA today and start just putting $10, $20, $50 a week, a month, whatever you can. Start putting that into the market now, because by the time you get to 30 or 40, who knows, you may be ready to retire by all the money that you've made. And it's really simple to open a Roth IRA. Just go to a bank, tell them that you want to open an account. They'll tell you the minimum amount that you need to put into the account to get it started. And then my advice is to, like I said, put in some amounts weekly or monthly. Just consistently keep putting money in there, and it'll continue to grow, as well as knowing that, these are invested in mutual funds, and as the market does well, your portfolio will do well, you'll make money, and you won't have to pay for that profit. So I've mentioned stocks and bonds and the way that your money gets invested when it comes to your retirement account. So my next piece of advice would be to start learning about what investing in the stock market is about, how to get started, and really learning about what it means to own a share of stock or be invested in a company, or what a shareholder is. This is going to set the foundation for your investing future. And it's really easy. You can just watch YouTube videos. I have a video on how to start investing. There's so much content out there. And that's how I taught myself. And then it led to me then getting started and actually purchasing stocks. But I think the best thing that you can do when you're getting out of high school and just entering college is just to start learning. I think you should be intrigued and interested, because there are people out there that are making hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars doing nothing by just putting their money in the stock market and watching it make money. So this is a no-brainer that you should really look into doing this and growing that passive income. I wish I had started sooner. I would tell myself, I'd shake myself and say, watch how to start investing videos right now. Okay, my next piece of advice would be to start diversifying your income. Now, you may not have any source of income, that's fine. Get a small job at a local cafe or a work study in college, and really just start feeling out what it is like to actually work. And then you'll realize,
wow, this sucks. Let me get some passive income.
And whether it's you're trying to be a TikTok famous star, a YouTube famous star, or whatever it is, there's so many ways to make money online. And I'm actually gonna do a side hustles video where I try a bunch of different side hustles and I show you guys which ones actually work and which ones are a waste of your time, because I've seen so many videos out there on people, suggesting all these different side hustles, but I'm like, what actually works? Like, is it worth my time to try and make this happen? Or is this just a complete joke? So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you're interested. All right, my next one is to create a budget. This is going to be really important as you grow into an adult and really, take off in your career, and you're managing a lot more money than you were managing when you were in high school. So I'm going to link a few budget plans down below for you guys to create a template and get started. The sooner you get into this habit, the better you will be at managing your money. All right, my next piece of advice for you guys is to start paying for things in cash, especially when you get to college and you're swinging your credit card over here, over there, and you're not really comprehending exactly how much money you're spending. By actually seeing the money, we're able to, have a more attachment to it. So when you hand over money to someone else, you're like, wow, okay, I'm giving this away to purchase this because this is actually really valuable to me, or maybe it's not. But this was something that I always did in college in order to just save a little bit more money. I'll be like, I'm gonna take $20, I'm not spending more than $20, and maybe leave your credit card at home so you're not even tempted. I think this is a really great way to create that structure for yourself and start setting limits, because with a credit card, you can get out of control and then you end up with thousands of dollars in debt and you don't know how you got here in the first place. So next time, just bring a 20 with you. And then on the topic of spending and shopping, I really think it's important that you buy things that you really need, not things that you just want. It's important to distinguish this, and I've talked about it in my savings video, my minimalist video. If you know me, you know that for me, it's all about staying in control of the things that you put into your life and not just consuming and consuming. And also, when you give $10 to like a cheap shirt, understanding that what you're contributing to when it comes to the environmental impact that your money is having, and then the human rights impact as well. So being more self-conscious of the way that you contribute to those causes, I think is important as well. All right, guys. And now my last piece of advice is, of course, to always live below your means. When you start working your first job and you get that salary and you're making a lot of thousands, right? It can be very overwhelming to want to go out and just start spending money and buying all these luxury things or things that you really want because you'll enjoy them. But I do think it's important that you kind of really think about what your financial outlook looks like in life and how you want to live. Do you want to go wild now in your 20s and then maybe struggle in the rest of your life? Or is now the time where you live as frugal as possible in order to acquire that wealth over time with your savings and your investings and the way that you're really putting your money to work now? These are all things that I've applied to my life. The only thing is that I wish I had applied them sooner. I really want you to take action. Open that bank account, open that credit card, open that Roth IRA. These are all free, right? These are all free things for you to open, and they're gonna set you apart from everyone else and set you up for that financial freedom a lot sooner in life. And that's it, Luxe Minds. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up if you found anything to be useful, and check out some of my other videos on my channel. I have a lot of content on personal finance and just living a smarter lifestyle. So if that's of interest to you, check it out, and I will see you next week. Bye, Luxe Minds.